So I'm Carrie, and my main role is as the Bar Stock Manager at the New Venture Theatre, which I've been doing ever since the first lockdown happened. I also help out a little bit behind the scenes, and in the past I've been a production manager, a stage manager, an assistant stage manager, and a props guru. I've always, ever since I saw my first production in Northern Ireland, I've loved going to the theatre. I love being transported to a different time and a different place. What's very special about the New Venture Theatre is we're all volunteers, and you've got all these people that are just giving up their time to tell a good story well. And there's just something really special about that. Every time you walk through the door, you get to leave the real world behind for a little bit, whether you're coming in to make a prop or coming in to see a show. There are so many memorable productions for various different reasons. So, for example, on Communicating Doors, I met someone that's now one of my best friends. Or for It's a Wonderful Life, which I was the production manager for, the director was really up for bringing new people into the theatre, so we had new cast members and new crew members, and it was just lovely to do that community outreach. And then the really special one, content-wise, was The York Realist, and it's a play I'd never even heard of before, and I did some of the props for it, and I was assistant stage manager on it. And it was really like a love letter to the theatre. It's a play about making plays. And there's just this wonderful speech in it about how magical it is when the curtain goes up. And that's how I feel when I come here. So that was really special to work on. I think the bar is like the heart of the building in a way, because the productions can be so varied, but the bar should be this like point of continuity where you walk in and you feel welcome, and you know there's going to be somewhere to sit, someone to talk to, something to order to drink. We've expanded our range so that we have 2 non-alcoholic beers now. We try to keep up with what people are asking for. And sort of, I do a couple of shifts each show just so that I can take those suggestions from the audience, which I think is a really nice thing. And it's also quite affordable. It's quite difficult to go to London these days and have a night out. But to come here, you can see a show and have a couple of drinks and you only spend 20 quid, which I think is great. My favourite thing to do is to make props. It just really, there's nothing I like better than when a director asks me to do something really specific and have to go away and either find it or think about how to make it. So for example, in Harrogate North, I had to source chewing tobacco, which isn't actually legal to buy here. It was a place set in America. And I thought, what can I do that will look like chewing tobacco, that's legal, and that's not going to be deeply unpleasant for the actor to have to deal with? After a bit of Googling, I discovered you can shred biltong. I checked that the actor wasn't vegetarian and was happy to try this sort of cured meat. And then I blended it up at home and put it into a Vaseline container, and then I painted the Vaseline container to look like one of the brands I have in the United States, which is just something you would never get to do in a normal day job and really made me happy. Yeah, probably, because there were so many steps involved. That was probably my favourite one. The one that made the director the most happy though was one for The York Realist, where one of the characters buys a shirt from a shop called Take 6, and I fashioned a label that looked like the labels that they had on the clothing back in the 1960s, and it literally took me 5 minutes at home with some crafting paper and a safety pin, but she was over the moon with it, and just seeing her face light up, so that was pretty special as well, even though it was a lot easier. I've really learned that you can always learn something new. You know, like I've been doing this probably for about 4 years now, and no 2 productions have been the same, either in the content of the show themselves or the way people have ordered drinks at the bar afterwards. Like, things are always changing. There's always new things to learn. And that's, I just can't believe, you know, how much the theatre has taught me, and hopefully I get as much out from it as I put into it. I'm quite excited by the fact we've got a new writing night this Friday, and I think the new element is something that I think we can explore further. You know, training new directors, putting on new writing, I think is a really good next step. And it does look like the theatre's going in that direction, which I think is really exciting, especially if we end up getting new local writers who start writing plays with putting them on here in mind. I think that would be really cool. And it's nice to see that some of our actors who are more used to auditioning for traditional plays have again decided to give up their free time to come and read in for us on Friday. So I would say if you want to get involved, the way I indicated which bits I was interested in that led me to being contacted by email about the bar opportunity was when you join as a member, you can tick boxes about what you want to hear about, and people will get in touch. You will be contacted whether you want to act or help out backstage or do a bar shift or learn how to do sound and lighting operation. You know, if you tick those boxes, someone will follow it up and you will get to learn how to do it if you don't already know how to do it. So I think that's a really cool thing about it, is everybody's so willing to teach each other and learn together. I think if you're shy, you don't have to volunteer to do something straight away. You can say, I'm interested in hearing about it, but you can come along and see a show before helping in a show, or you can talk to other people. So I would always be happy if somebody wanted to help me by meeting the bar deliveries. I would always be happy to say, chat to me, come and see how it's done, and if it's something you want to do yourself, we can job share it. So I think just making that one or two contacts with something you're interested in learning how to do makes it a little bit less overwhelming. Maybe just identify the thing that you want to learn the most, go and watch other people do it, and then ask them about it. I think all I have to add is that I just really hope people keep coming to the theatre. We've had such a successful run since the pandemic. We're selling out every show, and it just really makes me incredibly happy. So long may it continue.